Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone out here. We've got a couple representatives here from the Family History Guide. Myself, Miles Meyer. I'm out of Vero Beach, Florida, and I'm the Education Director for the Family History Guide. And I'll let Bob Taylor and Bob Ives introduce themselves, and we'll even let Angel and Scott introduce themselves if they're there. They are. I see them.
I'm just very excited to have all of you attend today.
Hold on, let's mute everybody here. If we can have everybody mute themselves and then they can pop on. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, so my name is Bob. I began the Family History Guide back in 2015, and then Bob Ives I've joined, and we started an organization now. It's a nonprofit. And training has been on my mind for a very long time. And now you're seeing kind of the bleeding edge of our new training initiative, volunteer instructor program. So I'm excited to get this off the ground, and thanks to all of you for coming and supporting.
And I want to second, I'm Bob, by the way, not him. I want to second what Bob said. It's really great that all of you are willing to take the time to help spread the word about our mission and whatnot. So I'm thrilled to be here. Like I say, I do see a few familiar faces that we run into when we had a real live Roots deck, whatnot, way back in history. And I see Angel's on too. So Angel, you want to take a second?
Sure. It's great to meet you all. I am the marketing director for the Family History Guide, and I also work on content. My husband can't be here with us, but he does public relations and outreach. And I'm excited about this program and welcome you all.
Okay. So initially with the Family History Guide, we had what was called the Certified Trainers Program, and we still have the Certified Trainers Program. And that's how I got involved with the Family History Guide. I was a certified trainer for Florida, which basically meant that I had enough knowledge to be dangerous when I went and talked to people about what's in the Family History Guide. We had to take a test, make sure that we proved that we were dangerous. And you know, so I've been speaking to groups about the Family History Guide for quite a while. And because of that, the Bobs decided to promote me to the education director with all of the privileges that entails. So that's what we've been, that's what I've been doing for, at least a year now, probably a little bit longer than that. Yeah, it was before Roots Tech last year. I know that for sure. So it's been maybe 2 years, I don't know. And one of the things that we're working on is trying to introduce more people to the Family History Guide and to the great resource that's there in the Family History Guide. And so that's why we're initiating the volunteer instructor program. And this program is an opportunity for people from all over the country, all over the world, to be involved in teaching about the Family History Guide. And there's a variety of different ways that people can teach about the Family History Guide. You know, you can be the expert for your genealogy society or your family history library or family history center and utilize the Family History Guide as an educational resource there. You know, you can do it as part of your regular speaking events. You know, in many cases, I'll be giving a talk about a topic and I'll incorporate the Family History Guide into that topic. So people, you know, are introduced to it. Or, you know, you can get into more serious instruction on the Family History Guide and, you know, doing webinars and large scale discussions about that. So those are just a couple things that we'll get into as we go through this. When we talk about volunteer instructor program, we want to have a cohort of people that are out there that are coordinating back with the Family History Guide so that we can see what sort of projects you're working on. You know, are you teaching classes? Are you talking about this topic And we want to be able to track that sort of information. So we'll get into more detail about how we do that also. But first of all, I'm assuming most of you have used the Family History Guide already. And what I want to do is I want to walk through it and talk about some of the resources that are available to help you develop classes and to teach utilizing the Family History Guide. So I'm going to share my screen here. Whoops. Let's see. I got to make sure I get the right page. This is what happens when you have too many windows open. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Just nod. Okay, great. So we've done some updates to the Family History Guide just recently, and you'll see now when you log into it, you have the overview, the tour, and the get started. And these are ways that people, just as they first visit the website, will know what to do. You know, you can go in and do the overview, and then go into the tour, and then go in and get started. We also have a beginner's path right here. And the beginner's path is a simplified version of the Family History Guide. You notice it doesn't have as many links up here at the top, and it gets directly into, you know, how to start using the Family History Guide. So I'm going to go back out to the full version. Our mission with the Family History Guide is to greatly increase the number of people actively involved in family history worldwide, and to make everyone's family history journey easier, more efficient, and more enjoyable. And so hopefully, as volunteer instructors, you can use that mission to help teach from the Family History Guide. You know, we want to make sure that family history is something that's easy for people to get involved in. We want to make sure that they have the most efficient way, that they don't get lost and frustrated as they're doing family history. And we want to make it enjoyable as they discover things about their ancestors. You know, they enjoy the track through getting that research. But we've also got over 200 activities that people can use for their families, individuals, youth, kids. And, you know, you can use these activities as teaching tools also, and have people involved in, you know, fun activities associated with family history. So if you've gone through the Family History Guide's website, you know that it's available in a multitude of languages. So if you're teaching people who are, you know, more fluent in Spanish, say, you can actually change it to Spanish and teach from it there if you're comfortable in that format. One of the things that we do recommend is that you utilize the Family History Guide's website as a teaching tool. So, you know, you don't have to make up slides. You can go directly into the Family History Guide and teach the Family History Guide by walking through it and just demonstrating how it's used. So, you know, if you've gone through, you know that you can go into these different tabs and go into the lessons available, the projects and goals associated with each of these tabs, and, you know, teach from those. But what we want to talk about today is the teaching tools that are available to you to make it easier as a trainer or as an instructor. So I know that Bob Taylor said he had some slides he wanted to show. So Bob, when we get to a point where that makes sense, let me know, and we'll switch it over and you can do that.
Yeah, I could actually jump in and do that now because it's only 2 slides.
Okay.
And I think it ties in with what you were just talking about. So you want to do that now?
Yeah. Why don't you do that? Just share your screen and then we'll go back.
Okay. So can you see this trainer focus?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as Miles was mentioning, You may find opportunities as a member of an organization. You might be in a genealogy society, you might be a family history center consultant, working in a library staff. So that's one way to take opportunities to teach, is within an organization. And then it could be a multi-organization thing where you actually are going out and doing some detective work, trying to find organizations out there that might be interested in. These could be societies, church groups, libraries, wherever. And then you would coordinate with that organization. Maybe they are not familiar with the Family History Guide, have not heard of it. You could coordinate and offer some training. And then at some point you would coordinate with them and perhaps turn over ongoing training to the local organization person. We just want to make sure that we're not stepping on toes, that everyone is in sync with the training efforts there. Okay, and the second slide, types of presentations, and Miles talked about this, so this will be kind of a review. The tour, if you haven't used that, this is a terrific way to give an introduction class on the Family History Guide without having to prepare anything in the way of extra training. Basically, it opens up a panel on your left side. So I'm actually going to do that. Click the tour and you can hopefully see this little panel that floats over the top, and you just open up particular links and it shows you examples, and you can click on these links in the Family History Guide, and you can do a side-by-side presentation. And of course you can customize it to make it less detail, more details, however you want to do it. So that's a good built-in way to teach the Family History Guide without having to prepare extra materials. There's topical classes. So these are particular subjects. Miles was showing you the drop-down menus, and he will also probably talk about sample outlines at some point, but you can teach from the Family History Guide about whatever topic, whether it's getting started in ancestry, or how to set up strategic ideas for research, or doing research in England or Mexico, whatever. A mixed class. So this might be appropriate if you already have a slide set and you just want to mention the Family History Guide in it. That's another possibility. I know Miles a while back did a webinar on European archives, and he was able to fit in a couple of slides with information about the Family History Guide, providing mentions and links. So the only thing we want to stress there is we don't want you to recreate the wheel with slide decks that talk about the Family History Guide. Rather, we would like you to show the Family History Guide on the website. So anyway, that's a balance that you can find the answer for, I think. Okay, those are the two slides. Thanks, Miles.
Okay.
I'm stopping my share here.
Okay, great. And I'll go back out to the Family History Guide here. So as Bob said, there's a variety of different ways you can train from the Family History Guide, and we want to make sure people are comfortable with those modes as they use it for their training. If we go into the trainers section here, and I'm just going to go in and open up the homepage for the trainers section. This provides you a lot of great resources to start with. We have topics on preparing a class. We have a course catalog with ideas on what classes are already out there you can start working with. Okay. We have the Trainer's Corner. We have resources, and and we're also we've just started a Facebook group for the Volunteer Instructors Program, and I will show you that as we get towards the end of the discussion today. So let's just take a look at preparing a class. Now, this is good no matter what class you're talking about. So this could be, the Family History Guide class, or it could just be another class that you're teaching. This provides you information on how to prepare classes in general. In this case here, we're going to start out, presenting the Family History Guide. And there's some steps in here that talk about what you should be doing. Again, suggested class size is about 45 to 50 minutes with a Q&A section. Usually these are hour-long classes, but we also have some shorter classes that are outlined in here that are 20 to 30-minute classes. We have these blank class worksheets, and I'll show those in just a little bit because it's easier if I go back to the Word. We also have the course catalog, and we have sample worksheets that are already completed. So we'll talk about those in just a little bit. Things that you want to do when you're preparing a topic, summarize. What are the things that you're going to be talking about? Make sure that you have that information up front. Emphasize the articles and the videos and things that are important to the presentation, and personalize it. This is what I consider one of the most important things. We have a lot of how-to videos on the Family History Guide that are available on our YouTube site. And I mean, they're great how-to videos, but the benefit of having a presenter going out and doing a personalized presentation is that you're drawing from your own experiences, and you're able to, add a little more insight or answer specific questions as they're being asked. And the discussion becomes more personalized and more directed towards the group, as opposed to generic, instruction on how to use the website. I'm going to go to the course catalog here, and you can see up top, we have a lot of different courses. So this top line here is the types of courses that we have available. So you can see we have the introduction to the Family History Guide, website instruction. So introduction to the guide, overview, training, beginning classes, beginning family history. So if you're teaching a beginner's class to family history for your library, for example, there are tools in here already in the Family History Guide that you can build your class around. That way, when the people are done with the class, when they go home, they can go back to the Family History Guide and try all of those links that you've been talking about, as opposed to, all they have is a handout that they're working from. This way here, they can actually go into the Family History Guide, click on the links, learn a little bit more about the topics. You can see there's a mini class here, interviewing tips. So it's about a 20-minute class. Then we have the family search classes, a class on family tree navigating, tree viewing, and so on, adding ancestors, and the mini classes. Going down, we have ancestry classes, my heritage, find my past, general research. So, starting your research, search techniques, solving problems. And then we have different countries research. So you see the United States here. And then international, British Isles, European, Scandinavian, so on. And then collaboration, and then technology. The computer skills, these are basics. I mean, it's PC basics, how to log into Windows, how to open up files, sort of thing. Applications, so there's word processing and presentations, and then social media, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So those are just some preset courses that we have out there. Going over to the Trainer's Corner. This is specifically, tips and techniques for trainers. So you can see here, delivering a class. What are the expectations? How to balance the class. So for in-person classes, balancing your talking points with activities and discussions. Having that sort of communication back and forth with the audience, balancing that. What to do with Q&As. There's some ideas of some questions and things you might want to consider beforehand. How to deal with slower and faster students with hands-on learning. How to involve the learners, discussion points, engaging with them with questions, visual aids, exercise, stories, and games. This is where you can go in and find some of these activities up here that might fit in with the topic you're doing, and maybe add a little bit of fun context to your presentation. links to, instructors' tips, course evaluation forms. We have a PDF form that you can download and hand out at the end of your presentation and get some feedback on the course that you just presented. And then inspiring, informing, initiating, interacting, and interdependency. The things that you want to consider as you're going through. This provides value to the talks and hopefully inspires the people attending to take steps forward. Over on resources, there's a lot of different training resources here. If you've been using the Family History Guide, you know about the online tracker. This is a place where you or anyone else can track their progress and the lessons that they've done in the Family History Guide. So you can do the online tracker or the Word version of it. We also have flyers, posters, and brochures, and I'm just going to open this up. As you're going through and doing presentations, some of these may be helpful for you. We have pass-along cards, and these are, I think I can pull up the pass-along cards. Yeah, there they are. So we have these different formats of the pass-along cards, front and back, that you can download, or we can provide you copies of these to hand out at your presentations. So, you can print your own or we can supply them. We have different brochures, the flyers, and display pages. The thing here with these display pages these are ways that you can set up your binders if you want to keep track of classes. These are also things that you can hand out to the classes that you're doing. So for example, this one here is countries pages. And it pulls up a nice little handout. So for the United States, there are 22 gold pages in there, and it gives you a layout of what the page looks like. You can see the different states pages. And then after this, we go into a lot of different countries. So, this is just something you can hand out as part of your presentation. So people have a nice page specific about that country that you may have been talking about for your topic. There's also quizzes. And in many cases, we have quizzes associated with the classes. So here is a quiz for the overview of the Family History Guide. And I do this quite often. If I'm teaching directly from the Family History Guide, I will pull up these quizzes while I'm doing my presentation and see if the audience, knows the answers. So if we start the quiz, says the mission of the Family History Guide is to make everyone's family history journey easier, more efficient, and more, and let the audience come up with an answer, extensive. That's what we want, all of our family history to be more extensive, don't we? Effective, enjoyable, and we see what the answers are, and we get some instant feedback from that. So you can see there's quizzes for family search for different topics in family search. There's some quizzes for ancestry, one for my heritage, find my past, and then some quizzes in United States research that you can go into. And I've done this before. I've gone in and said, oh, that question is different than what it was when I practiced it a couple of days ago. So one of the Bobs went in and made a change or something like that at one time. And I joke about it. I don't always pass the quiz when I take them during the classes either. So now, as I mentioned earlier, we do have our certified trainers program, and this was our first group of trainers that we had. And there's a way to become certified trainers and catalog your events and the resources. For volunteer instructors, the resources, you can use all those same resources. The big difference is if I click on here, become a certified trainer, you'll see, what are the expectations? And these expectations are fairly in-depth. The biggest thing is for all of our trainers, we don't charge fees for the training associated with this. So for example, I do a lot speaking at different genealogy societies and other organizations, if I'm speaking on my own topics, I charge a speaker fee. But if I'm speaking on the family history guide, I tell those groups that these are free presentations. I do not expect to be, receive compensation for those presentations. And that's part
Hey,
of the
Miles?
Yes.
Yeah, just to interject something real quickly. If you're in a position where you're traveling or having hotel costs and so forth, for speaking about the family history guide, you could ask for some compensation that way. But as Miles mentioned, not specifically for the speaker fee.
Yeah, and that's part of our, we're a nonprofit organization, a 401, whatever it is, 501c3 organization, as it says down here at the bottom. So the certified trainers, they have an overview certification test and a few other things that they have to do. We're not expecting that out of the volunteer instructors. The other thing is it's expecting the volunteer instructors to be, fully versed in everything that's in the family history guide. What we're looking at with the volunteer instructors is that you are a ambassador for the family history guide. You are a resource for your community organizations. You can talk about the family history guide. You can teach from the family history guide, and you can be that resource that your genealogy society or your library or whatever it is utilizes to help with their outreach and their education programs. So that's what we're looking for right there. I just want to show a couple things. Yes, Bob.
Yeah, just one more thing. Just so everybody knows, the volunteer instructor program and certified trainers and so forth, they are not attached to being a family history consultant at a family history center. So it's not connected with Family Search, not connected with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is a separate effort. While we are definitely friendly to all of those organizations and efforts, if anyone asks you, are you sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or by Family Search? The answer to that would be no. We're doing this as a public service. So, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to pull up a couple things here that would be helpful as you're, considering classes and things that you might be able to teach. If you go into the countries section, you can see we have different topics here in the countries section. Okay. I'm just going to pull up the United States here as an example. And you can see that we have records, locations, regions, vital records, births, adoption, marriage, death, and so on. All of these different categories. So let's say that your genealogy society or your organization that you're instructing says, can you talk to us about adoptions? And you may not have any experience with that, but you can just go right up here to the U.S. adoptions file, and you can go in and look at the goal B3, exploring adoption records, and you can walk through this topic as part of the presentation and show them that there are these resources that are available out there. There are different videos, there are different handouts or documents that you can download, and then utilize this information as the backbone for the presentation that you're giving. The other thing is, in each of the countries, you'll see a further breakdown. So here is in the United States, I'm just going to go to Florida. And now I've got different, I can research in Florida. So, I've got different topics up here that I can use, or I can go right down here and start instructing from the Florida topics right there. And then I've got the counties down here. So you can get all the way down to a county level in the United States to get information. If you click on these, they go to various different websites. So if you click on the name of the county, it goes to Family Search, Ancestry, Linkpendium, Genealogy Inc., US GenWeb, Facebook. So, you can utilize those as sources for information as you're instructing from the Family History Guide. Still got people popping in. And then we have the vault and the miscellaneous, and there's a lot of different bits of information here in all of these. If you go to the miscellaneous and see what's new, you can see what's been added in the last month or 2 months to the website. So you can always know if they've updated something and you need to go back and become more familiar with that information. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to show a couple things. So many of you are members of the Family History Guide's Trainers, Consultants, and Directors page on Facebook. And that's where we posted the announcement for this event. But this is the Family History Guide Trainers, Consultants, and Directors page. We've also just recently started the Family History Guide's Volunteer Instructor Program Facebook page. So after we finish this presentation, you're all invited to join us on this page, and I will post the link for that in the chat. So this is the VIP Facebook page. And this one here is the Trainers and Consultants Facebook page. And so the difference there is, this has 2.7 thousand members. These are trainers from family history societies or genealogy societies, family history centers, libraries, whatever it might be. Not all of them are specifically trainers for the Family History Guide, but we share a lot of information and ideas back and forth on this page that might help you, get some more information as you're thinking about what to teach. And then on the Family History Guide, the VIP page, this is going to be more directed towards VIPs, the volunteer instructors. And this will be where you can all share your ideas, your questions, concerns, any issues you may have had, so that we in the Family History Guide can help you, and then other trainers or other instructors who have had similar experiences can provide support for you there. Notice,
Miles?
Yes.
Go ahead, Anjo.
Okay, I was just going to say it'd be interesting to know where you're teaching and
Yes.
what it was like and how many came and those kinds of details too. So we'd invite you to share that also.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to know. One of the things with the Family History Guide is, we want to be able to tell people what our instructors and our trainers are doing. How many classes have they taught in the past quarter? How many people might have attended? And this is a good place for you to put that information in and have that, have that discussion.
Yeah, and if I also might add, this particular group is private, and we will be posting a question or two for new members to answer before they come in so they can be screened. However, everyone who's on this call and got invited to this, you'll be included or invited automatically, and we'll set up the questions after that. So you're welcome in, but we want to keep just curious onlookers. We don't want to admit them unless they're serious about, finding out about the volunteer instructor program and participating.
Right. So you guys are actually the only ones that have links to this page. So we know that, we've got your names. You put your name and your location in the chat. We'll go back to that. We'll just cross-reference that and make sure. and then we will admit you into the page. The other thing is we have a questionnaire, and I'll pull it up here, and I just posted the link to it. And we'd like all of you to go in and use that link and fill in the questionnaire for us sometime in the next couple of days, if possible. Basically, we're just trying to gather some information so that we have some background on the instructors, volunteer instructors. You know, your name, your email address, because we will have some emails that we want to send out. What are you affiliated with? Are you a Family History Center volunteer? Are you a genealogical library staff or volunteer? Are you a member of a genealogical society, a historical society, or no affiliation or other? And then if you're a member of one of these groups, you know, what's the name of the organization? You know, you can put in, if you're a Family History Center volunteer, you can put in the name of the Family History Center or the Genealogy Society or whatever. And how would you rate your familiarity with the Family History Guide? You know, never heard of it, up to expert. Are you interested in becoming a volunteer instructor for the Family History Guide? So we'll be sending this out to other organizations and groups. So, you know, not everybody there will be interested, but I'm assuming since you're attending this conversation today, that you will be interested. And do you have experience presenting family history topics in public? You know, no, yes, in person, yes, virtually. Locations where you would be willing to teach. So this is, you know, where are you located right now as a starting point? And then are you willing to teach in your organizations, your community, your region, surrounding counties, online virtual programs, you know, potentially things of national or international availability. And then what family history topics are you interested in knowing more about? And here, you know, if you have things that we might not have in the Family History Guide that you might have some interest in, you know, put that in there also, and we can see if that's something what we might want to do. Oh, I got to figure that out. Okay, so let me see. Let me go back to the family history. So you may have permissions. When I get done sharing my screen here, I will go in and try to fix that, and I'll post a better link. So, Bob's, one of you want to talk about a few things for a couple minutes, and I'll figure out why that link didn't work.
Yeah, okay. So one thing, while Miles is working on that, one thing I'd like to, can you allow me to share?
You should be able to
I'll just go ahead and share. All right, okay. So if I go over to the Family History Guide here, one thing that you might want to check out in the trainers menu is we have these worksheets. Okay, so there are blank worksheets and sample worksheets and so forth. So if I click on this link for a blank worksheet in English, it downloads it as a Microsoft Word file, and I can open that up. And basically, this is a handy way that you can prepare a class. When you get inside the choices on a particular Family History Guide page, you'll see links to articles, videos, steps, and so forth. Part of the magic of preparing a good class using the Family History Guide is to decide ahead of time which articles and which videos you want to emphasize in the class. And so that's what this is for here. You put in the title, and then for each choice and step, you say, this is the particular article, and I want to remember to make these notes and so forth. That way you have your own kind of class outline that you can use and you can customize, you know, with each class that you do. One thing that we may be able to do in the Facebook group is when you come up with a class outline that works particularly well, feel free to share it. We will also probably send out a link for a shared drive area that we can exchange files in a little bit more easily. So we're working on that. But this is a good way to do that. You can put in practically whichever class you want to prepare there. So I'm going to delete this. And then if I go out to sample worksheet, you can also download one here. And I'm going to open that up. And this is an example of a sheet that got filled in. This is for a newspapers class. And so You have the choice, the step, and this is the article that I decided to use or the video I decided to display, and some key points. So you can use that as a very rough outline. Of course, you can feel free to do what you need to do. The only guideline I would give is that remember that it's about the family history guide. So you wouldn't want to use a sample outline necessarily to go off and explore all sorts of other things. You know, it should be focused around the family history guide. Okay, that's what I wanted to share. So I'll stop there.
Bob, can you share your screen again and go to the home screen?
For a small fee, I could do that.
It's coming with the other check that I sent over.
Yeah, okay.
While he's doing that, I wanted to mention, I put a link over in chat. Angel and Scott Anderson hosted a High Five Live yesterday, and they were desperate for people to use on it. So they talked Bob and I into being on there. But the thing I want to mention about it, if you go to that link, you can watch it. It's about 30 minutes, because a lot of people in presentations, when you're doing them, your audience, they'll ask a question like, when did you start? Where did you come from? All of these little kinds of questions. And this High Five Live yesterday, we spent most of the time talking about how we got started, how the guide got started and how it works, and kind of the genealogy of the family history guide itself. So it's good for background material. The other thing I wanted to mention is, Bob, could you scroll down all the way to the bottom? That's good. There's a couple of things right there in the middle where it says media resources, come follow me, companion, trainers, so on and so forth. Then there's a link that goes right and tells about the association itself, who our people are. A lot of times people want to know, who's the guide, who are your board of directors, who are your staff people, and this, that, and the other. And that is all right here in this particular section, which is interesting from people. Another thing that's interesting, people will ask quite often, okay, you're a 501c3, you're a charitable organization. How do you fund this? How do you function? There's that donate button, and Bob, if you'll click on that. I love this remote thing. That works great. There are a number of ways that people can donate to the Family History Guide, and they're all listed there. You can even set us up as your charity of choice on Amazon. And so everything you buy on Amazon sends us a portion of that, and it doesn't change your price or anything at all. But there's everything from donor advice funds with Fidelity and PayPal and all kinds of ways that people can donate to the Family History Guide. And then, of course, we will acknowledge those and whatnot. So I just wanted to bring those points up.
As I think of it, there's one more thing that may be generally useful. In the intro menu, there's an FAQ section. This is recently updated. So if you spend some time studying this, like about the Family History Guide, when did it start, language support, presentations and training, and so lots of questions get answered right here that may be helpful for you as well. Okay, so I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, so I did figure out what's up with the link to the questionnaire. Because it's in a restricted folder, it's got restricted criteria. So we'll move it out of that folder, and I will post it in the VIP Facebook page that we posted earlier, so that after you get done, with this meeting, when you join the VIP Facebook page, the Volunteer Instructor Program Facebook page, that link will be there for the questionnaire. Okay, and then we can share that link out afterwards there. So I want to open up some time. We want to make sure, that we answer any questions that you all may have about, about the Volunteer Instructor Program, or how you can utilize this to enhance the instruction for your, organization, for your community, or for your region. and we'll let you know. We'll try to answer those questions. So if you have any questions, just unmute yourself.
Okay, how do I enhance my memory bank to take this all in and use it?
We
That's,
sell optional memory upgrades you may be interested in.
it's in the marketplace at the bottom of the webpage.
A little painful, but it works.
Yes. So there is a lot of information there. And as I mentioned, we don't expect everybody to be fully knowledgeable about everything that's there. Where the information is helpful is, let's say you have an idea of what the topic you want to present is, and that may be a beginner's genealogy class. Focus in on that information. Go to that beginner section and start pulling that information together and using that website, using the pages in the Family History Guide's website to lead your lesson and to provide the resources for those people. Same thing with the countries. If you're doing a presentation, or the topic for your group is German genealogy, go to the German page in the countries section and pull some of that information together to try to figure out how to present it. And
Can I
Bob,
make a quick comment?
yeah,
Here's an analogy that may be helpful to you. Don't think of yourselves as a library. Think of yourselves as librarians. So librarians don't walk around the library trying to read every single book. That would just be crazy. But instead, they have a really good knowledge of where to find things. So if someone's interested in a particular topic or aspect, they know where to point them. So as VIP program instructors, first responsibility is just knowing where in the Family History Guide to find particular topics. You can use the search bar. We have a topics item in the intro menu. And if you feel comfortable as being a librarian, then your chances of pointing people to the solutions are better, rather than you having to memorize all the solutions yourself.
yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for that comment. I also want to say thank you so much for organizing all this in a very usable way and making it so accessible. I'm grateful to you all. Thank you.
And I wanted to,
Hillary, that's like our compensation. We don't get paid much, but comments like that just really make our day. Thank you.
yeah, I wanted to show you how you can actually organize things in one way. So I'm on the Florida page here, and you can see this page goes on for a little bit, but we have this print button here, and this allows you to print a printer-friendly PDF. And so I'm going to hit that print button, and it's going to prepare the page. And so, you can see that it prints it out looking like this. But notice as I mouse over sections, it has a garbage can. And so let's say I want to teach on this, but I don't want to teach on, this piece. So I can hit that garbage can, and now it's gone. And so you can delete the sections that you're not going to talk about, so that when you can then present this, as a handout with the information that you're, going to use for your talk.
Miles, there was a question that came up in the chat. They wanted to know the difference between a certified instructor and a volunteer instructor.
Yeah, so those certified instructors, they are certifiable, but they've also been around long enough that they've had a lot of experience with the Family History Guide. They've spent some real time, involved in it, and they've taken the certified instructors test, showing that they have that experience. The volunteer instructors, we want you guys to be resources to your community, representing the Family History Guide's website. So, for example, I am the certified trainer for Florida. I'm the only one. Okay. So if somebody went to our webpage from Florida and said, I want a family history guide instructor, they're going to find me, and I may end up speaking in Pensacola or Miami or wherever it might be. With the volunteer instructors, you guys are in your communities. And the idea here is that your community can then use you as a resource. Your organization can use you as a resource. So, your genealogy society might say, okay, we're going to do, this class coming up, and we want you to help us put it together. Show us how to use the family history guide to put that together. Or your library might have an outreach day, a family history outreach day, where you come in and present the start, beginning genealogy, beginning family history sort of class. So that's the big difference, is that, you guys are representing the information on the family history guide to your communities, and you don't have to take the big test.
Then there was another question that came up from Jana. Can you see that one?
Let's see. Yep, family history consultant.
Mhm.
I just jumped in and answered it, but
Okay.
for whatever it's worth. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Jana wanted to know about starting a series of family history nights, and could we have the first session be on using the Family History Guide website? And I said, yeah, that'd be terrific. And remember about the tour, make it easy.
Yeah. So, if you're a family history consultant, and, right now our family history centers are closed in Florida, or at least our area. And so on Saturdays and Wednesdays, I'm doing a 1-hour session for our area. And the Saturdays get more people, or Sundays, I should say. Saturday be during this. I can't do that at the same time. So on Sundays, we get a few more people in, and people ask, how do I do Italian research? I said, well, okay, I'm going to go to the family history guide. I'm going to go, pull up, and here's Italian research, and then we're going to step you through it. Or somebody says, I need to know how to do indexing. Oh, well, let's go to the family history guide. Let's go to the family search indexing section, and let's add those in, as part of the discussion. So that's one way that you can do it as a family history consultant.
Can I just add something there?
Yes.
What Miles just told you is worth its weight in gold, basically, because the Family History Guide enables you to greatly expand the number of courses and the number of topics that you might be able to train in. Not necessarily that you're an expert, we're not saying that, but we're saying that now you can open the door to anything as diverse as Norwegian research or German immigration or whatever the topic is, because the Family History Guide can be your teaching vehicle. And then that opens up the possibilities just tremendously. You just have to use your imagination.
Miles,
Yes.
could you go back to the homepage?
Well,
I know one of the things that's daunting, and a couple of you have mentioned this, is, how do we know where to go in the guide?
Let me find it here. There we go.
There's a really easy way that I use when I'm doing a presentation. There's 2 ways you could go. If you go under intro and you go down and click on sitemap or topics, and let's say someone is asking me, gee, what do you have? Where can I find something about adoption in the Family History Guide? So there it is, adoption records. You click on that, and it's going to take you right to a section on records and everything about adoption. Another way is if you get back on the home page, and if I click on the little magnifying glass, and type adoption in the search menu, it's going to do a search in the guide itself. And there's all the places in the Family History Guide where adoption is mentioned. I love that section because, as Bob Taylor said, when you walk into a library, it used to be, and some of you are old enough to remember this, if you walked in and you wanted information on adoption, you went to an old thing called the card catalog. Remember that? And you flip through the cards and you'd find A's and find adoption. And now you go in and you go on the computer and you can do the same thing. You can do a search. Well, the same thing is here, and it makes it really, really quick and easy to find specific topics in a hurry in the guide.
So there was a question on the certified trainers instructor tests. I just posted that. It says become a certified trainer. It's under trainers, certified trainers, and then you can go in and follow the guides here.
I just posted a link to that.
Yep, I had it there too.
Okay, great.
I want to post again the VIP Facebook group so that you can go in there and click on that and join that group. And again, we will post the link to the questionnaire, to this questionnaire on that page, so you can access it once we've resolved the access issues with it. I'll stop sharing there.
Yeah, I'll just throw in one thing. I hope each one of you realizes how essential and important you are. This is not just an experimental thing like, okay, we'll see this and try if it works. We really are counting on this to be the springboard and the catalyst for some tremendous growth opportunities for family history in general and the Family History Guide. Reaching out to family history centers, to genealogy societies, to libraries, community organizations, and you are at the forefront, which is pretty exciting. So please know that you'll receive all the support that we can give you. Your questions, your concerns are very, very important to us. We want to help you succeed in any way that we can.
Did we tell everybody where the page, the email link is? How to get a hold of us? Contact us?
If you're contacting through the website, it's info at thefhguide.com. There is a, in the miscellaneous menu, there's a contact us. But also in the Facebook page, you can converse there, whatever's easiest for you.
Also, it looks like Larry and Karen had a question that didn't get answered yet, maybe. Just a link to the tests to become certified.
Yeah,
Oh.
we posted the link, the page right below that.
Oh, good. Okay,
Bob posted and I posted, so it's there twice. Or
good.
two different pages, but they're the same.
I also put in the links to 2 of our videos that Family Search asked us to do for Roots Tech, because they are great overviews of what the Family History Guide can do with personal stories and information and just some really easy ways to help people get to know what we do.
And these, I might mention, these are home run videos. Family Search did a tremendous job of collaborating with us. And these are the types of things, if there's somebody who's like, I don't know if I want to get into family history, blah, 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 show them those 2 videos and they'll go, whoa, I need to get started.
Yeah, they're about 10 minutes each.
Did we mention the YouTube channel and the dozens and dozens of videos that are over there?
We have now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
You can find the YouTube channel and some of the Facebook and blogs and everything up in the media link on the top of the page for the Family History Guide. You just pull down media and you'll see it there.
And those can be some great, quick couple-minute things that you can include in your training, or as you get people, you want to get them interested and involved with advertising.
So, okay.
How would I go about requesting someone to speak at my genealogical society that I'm a member of?
If you want someone from the Family History Guide Association to speak, just send us an email at info@thefhguide.com.
Okay.
It's in the contact us link, also in the miscellaneous menu.
And it's right there at the bottom of the chat also for the.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're happy to do that. This is kind of like the first wave. We're happy to, establish a beachhead and so forth. But we would love to have the rest of you in the future going and doing some more of the directed specific training in different localities. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Sure.
right now I'm in the process of speaking at, various different genealogy societies in Florida. I've already spoken at a couple. Oops, there's a dog. And I've got a couple more coming up in the next month or so. And what I'm doing is just the overview of the family history guide, and then introducing people to the fact that we have volunteer instructors. And if anyone in those societies is interested in learning more about being a volunteer instructor, contact me, and then we add them to this video call. What we're thinking about doing is doing these calls on a regular basis, potentially monthly, to build, the experience, to talk with, have people talk about their experiences, and to try to, help everybody along as we move forward with this.
Also, one other thing, we're going to be one of the featured vendors at the National Genealogical Society convention coming up in May. So if you have people who are interested or attending that, tell them to watch for the Family History Guide, and we'll be a key part of what they're doing there.
Yeah, so
Any other questions?
there was a question
Yeah,
about,
Jana just had one that I saw pop up.
And the answer is yes, 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 yes,
Yes.
yes, 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 Jana, yes.
any chance you have to talk about the Family History Guide, do it.
Okay, and this is a little silly sounding, but there are elevator pitches, so to speak. There are 30-second opportunities when you have to talk to someone. Keywords you may want to keep in mind are free. That's a big one. And getting people started easily. That's another thing. And then if someone is already experienced, tell them they can accelerate their progress in research with country pages, research tips, and so forth. So practicing some of those 30-second pitches actually comes in pretty handy.
And we will post a link to the Zoom video on the VIP page. So, make sure that you are joining the VIP page so we have that initial coordination. We'll post the link to the questionnaire there, so that way we have your email address and we can send more information out. Right now I'm sending the information out to the bulk email addresses that we have with Family History Guide, and that works fine. But we'd like to be able to focus in on those individuals who are, specifically interested, as opposed to people who are just on our email list and, oh no, not another email from the Family History Guide.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Sure.
I have presented the Family History Guide on several occasions, and sometimes as I'm doing that, when I go to a specific link in an area, that link is now no longer available. Do we update those every so often?
Yes, we do. If you find a broken link in the Family History Guide, please send that link in to us so that we can get it corrected. We usually get it done within several hours.
All right, we will start doing that.
Yes.
yeah, I do that quite often. I'll send Bob an email saying, hey, Bob, this is wrong. It doesn't work.
Yeah, the biggest culprit is Family Search, who changes things on a wholesale basis without letting anybody know. So we love it when you let us know when you run into those things.
There are thousands and thousands of links on the webpage. And so, unless somebody's letting us know, we can't track all of them.
And one other note on that, you may access a website from the Family History Guide that may have some broken links. So it's important to know that we can't actually do anything about the links on someone else's site. We're happy to change links that may be broken or incorrect on our site.
Okay, any more questions? Like I said, join us on the VIP Facebook page. We'll use that to coordinate. Oh, there's another one. Would you please post a link for the National Genealogical Society workshop that will be occurring in May? Do we have that link?
Okay, here's something that I would recommend. I'm actually going to post a blog article on the Family History Guide blog site on Monday. And it's going to give some information about that. So if you check out our blog site, you'll have some information with links and kind of what we're up to, what we're planning and that type of thing. So that would be a good place to start.
So if you haven't subscribed to the emails that come out every week, you can do that on the homepage.
Okay.
Oh, and don't forget, tell everybody that it's free.
Thanks, you all. You're wonderful. We so appreciate what you're doing.
Okay.
Very
Well, thank you
much.
all. Well, we will post another announcement out. Like I said, I don't have everybody's email address specifically that joined up with us, but we'll post another announcement out on our various Facebook groups about a meeting next month. So have a good afternoon and everybody have fun during the weekend.
Before we go, let us just say thank you for all you do, because it's fantastic.
Thank
It
you.
really is.
Thank you.
The Family History Guide we learned about at RUSTEC, not when you were first starting, and you've just grown and grown, and it is amazing. You are angels.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks.
And we don't look any older, do we?
No,
That's a
Speak for
stretch.
yourself.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks.
Miles.
Thank you.